Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the Build a Nation Challenge. We're going to have quite a reserved window this time, not so many players coming in and out because I think we've got the basis of a good squad. And let's see how we do in our first match in the Champions League. Stick around, it should be a short, fun one. Okay, I've gone all the way forward into July. We're on the 25th of July. We've played the first league game of the season, which we won 2-1. And I'll just take you quickly through the transfers we've made. In terms of the players going out, just a few going out on loan. Hopefully more will follow. But Karevski, Kumic and Kurnovic have gone out on loan to get some much needed experience. Spahic we've sold on for 60,000. We signed him for free in the summer last year. So a little bit of a turnaround of funds there, minus whatever wages we paid him over the course of a year. And then some free transfers. Kvetko he just didn't want to sign. He was a bit of a pain in the backside the whole time he was here, to be honest, but we've let him go for free. Ormovic we've moved on. Filipovic and Ziga, again he was probably an error I made last season in the trying to sign young hopeful players. I took a blind guess at one and got it wrong, so he's moved on. In terms of players coming in, first we've got Dominik Perpic from Hajduk Split, 25-year-old centre half. He's going to fit into the team nicely, either as a rotational option between Patel at the back end. Hopefully between 2 or 3 players we'll have a fairly good squad to rotate around, maybe bring in 1 or 2 if the opportunity presents itself, but I'm not really looking to stretch too far in terms of the back. We'll go through the squad planner in a minute ahead of the new season, but I think he'll fit in well in the back four. Filip Takac from Sparta Prague, 18-year-old forward. He's already got a cap for Slovakia as well. Just brought him in as a high potential rotation striker with Guican. That way we can let Sekulic move on, and we've got a couple young upcoming players who we can develop and then sell on either for a profit or keep them in the team. So he looks like quite the prospect in there. He's going to step into some of the cup games, and if we do get any easy games in the Champions League we'll maybe rotate him through, but I think we might have a bit of a rough ride in this first dip into the competition. It looks like we've only got 2, but there was one more at the end of last season. Jaroslav Novak from Jablanek for 52,000 popped up through the scouting network, and hopefully you can agree that in terms of his mental and physical stats, at 19 years old he looks like he might develop into be quite the player in the middle of the pitch, and that was the area that I short folders on last season by letting too many go. So a couple strengthenings in there. One more to let you know about in terms of transfers, and that's one that's pre-arranged. So Yusu Kamara, a 17-year-old central midfielder, he's going to come in on a free transfer. However, we're not going to see him until next summer. We couldn't sign him while he's seen out the rest of his contract. He's only 17, so he's going to stay at his current club. We're going to get him in the summer next year, and he looks like quite the prospect. So already getting some other young players from the continent coming in. In terms of how we're getting more, we're getting the South Europe scouting range now, so we've expanded our network with the extra money we've got. I've put some of the transfer budget into the scouting budget to account for that, and hopefully we'll get some more young high potential players coming through, so that's looking particularly interesting. In terms of the squad planner itself then, key positions that we might dip into, we definitely need to, is we need a reserve goalkeeper for Kovacevic, because he's bound to pick up an injury. He does most seasons. Left back, we've got no backup for Kvijanovic. We'd like to pick up a nice little left back in there, ideally Croatian in both them positions to keep the squad registration rules in. Centre half, we've got Zebic, Patel and Perpic. It's 3 really quite strong centre halves. Lukavniak's a really good young prospect coming up. Anissa doesn't really need to be in there because he's defensive midfielder. But there's 4 reasonably good centre halves to rotate through them positions. At right back, we've got Nicholas with Antonini Bouk as the understudy. So again, quite comfortable in there. Midfield, some of the players have come back from loan, but we've got Lukanic, who had a great season last year and he's developed really well. Novak, who's come in, looks like quite a promising player. Stankovici's come back from his loan up to 2.5 stars, so I think he'll feature more this year. And we've got Anissa and Kalasic as well to rotate through while we wait for Yusu Kamara to come through next season. So a much better spread of them. Hopefully we won't loan too many out, might loan 1 or 2, but I'd like to keep a core of 4 in there probably would be enough, but we'll see. Advanced midfield, we've got Mohar, Lukanic can play there, Stojkovic is more of a winger. Palavinek, he's our young Croatian, we're developing into that kind of understudy position. Novak I don't think will really play in there, but he can. On the right we've got Bukvic, Stojkovic, Rukavina and Struns. I'm looking to move Strunz on because he's just grumpy and he's upset because I wouldn't sign another Austrian to go alongside him. But that would still leave us 3 on there. On the left hand side, much the same. Letting him go might also let us bring in a young upcoming high potential player as well. And then up top we've got Guikan and Takak, 2 really good high potential young players in there. Seklic is still there, Zaravika's going to go out on loan, and Strunz will hopefully move on. That way we'll just wait for anything that pops up through the scouting centre. Nothing in there at the minute, but I'll continue to play through and see what we get. In terms of the schedule, friendlies have gone really well. Slipped up in the first one, a 1-1 draw at Levski. We've won the rest. Good wins against Hispalas, HSV, Debrecen. And then on the opening game of the season, we beat Rudes, 2 goals, 1 for Lukanic and 1 for Guikan, who's got off the mark very early. That leaves us with the playoff game against Celtic to hopefully get to the Champions League proper into the group stages, so I'll play them shortly. Hopefully we can get past them, although it's a bit of a tough ask. I've looked at their squad, it's not fully fleshed out, so I think we do have an opportunity to get in that. And then we'll play through the first 10 league games, and I'll come back with any transfer updates and a bit of a update on where we are in terms of them first 10 league games and the Champions League. So not much in terms of transfers, but I think we're really starting to shape into a squad. In terms of the Croatian division, I think we're about 5th favourites in there, 50 to 1. So over the last couple of seasons, we've stepped down from 1,000 to 1, lower. We're now at 50 to 1. We need to reel in Osijek and Rijeka to really make a concerted amount of pressure on them top 2 teams. But it's so far so good, looking really good. Some more players come in. Let's just see if we can get 1 or 2 from the scouting network to strengthen us before the season starts, and it should shape up to be quite a competitive one. I'll get through. I'll be back shortly. And we are back and 10 games into the league season. First thing to take us through is the extra transfers we've made. So as you can see down the bottom right, hidden behind my head sometimes, you can see the names of the players who've gone out, but essentially we've let a whole load of extra players go out on loan, and Rock Anita we've sold for 31,000. So we've got him off the books from central midfield. That's because we've brought another central midfielder in, and we're actually looking quite good in that area now that we've cashed in on him as a foreign player for 31,000 to reinvest elsewhere in the squad. You can see Strunz as well. We've let him go out on loan. He's recouping us quite the fee as well. So I think it's somewhere in the region of 1.9 million all told when he comes back if the change is made permanent. Necht as well, Kulo. Seklic has gone on loan. Hopefully he'll be bought at the end of it. In terms of the incomings, we've hit them places we discussed earlier on in the episode that we need someone in. So Lucas Matthews, 235,000, and I have been starting to spend the cash now because the free transfers I wanted weren't really cropping up through the scouting network. Lucas Matthews, he's another Brazilian, a goalkeeper, 21 years old. He's got some really good potential moving forward. I think as a reserve, as an understudy to Kovacevic, I think we've got a really good goalkeeper on our hands there who we can develop moving forward. Only 21, probably cashing on him, moving him on at some point once we get another Croatian goalkeeper to come in. But as an understudy, as a young goalkeeper with a lot of potential, I think you can agree that he looks like quite an exceptional talent on our hands. Then Ahmed Apostolov, 775,000. I jumped in on him because his minimum release clause was about to expire. I've seen him a few times through the scout network. He's a 20-year-old Bulgarian central midfielder. He can play flat centre and he can play advanced. But he's got a really good stat spread, and I'm more interested in his physicals. He's naturally fit, he's quite quick, he can get around the pitch, he's got good technique, and he's just got a really good spread of stats. So he's come in, he's played a couple games in the Europa League and the Croatian League, but I think he, moving forward, will probably be one of our first choice centre midfielders, certainly as we develop him a little bit further on in his development. And then finally, Nikola Simic, we needed a left back. We've had him on loan previously. You can see there, a couple of seasons ago, we brought him in 27-28 season, had him in, he did really well. We've made that move permanent. It did cost us a bit of a fee, but we needed someone at left back. The squad were getting a little bit disgruntled about having no depth at left back, so we've brought him in. And the final one, Zdenek Zvodboda from Victoria Pilsen, a winger. Again, really good potential on him that we've just snapped him up. There is a minimum kind of fee we're going to have to pay for as compensation, but again, his pace is fantastic, his dribbling is fantastic, and I think we've got an exciting player on the left wing in the years to come. So getting into that mood of trying to develop the nation, bringing in some young players. We'll probably loan them to the clubs in and around us as we move forward and build up one of them kind of loan farms that I've seen many people try and do. Never done one before, not to the extent that I've seen in some of the videos I've watched, but we'll try it. We'll see how we get on. As I said, building nations, not a save I've really done in the past. I like the idea of it, but I've never put it into practice. And finally, Marin Zekic, he's not a transfer we've made. I've just made an inquiry. Really good physical stats, and it's because he's Croatian. We might be able to bring him in and develop him moving forward. The other thing that really want to look at, and this is a massive bonus, is the board have finally listened to some things. So youth recruitment, training facilities and youth facilities will all be improved. So that's all 3 got accepted, much to my surprise. Whether that's to do with the finances of the club not being too bad, but we'll see moving forward. In terms of results then, that's the big one we want to tune into and see how we've started the season. I'm reasonably happy, although I can understand there is some disappointing elements in here, but in we go then. So you'd been with us when we'd beat Roods 2-1 on the opening day of the season. Celtic beat us in our home game 2-1 in the Champions League qualifier. We managed to beat Hajduk, someone we don't normally beat in the league, so in terms of the league we're going great. Bit of a wobble in the Champions League. We recovered, much thanks to a sending off to Dyson Maida for Celtic, and we got a 92nd minute goal to put us through to the next round, which was absolutely magnificent, and a game that I thought we would really struggle with, but we got through. Ozijek we beat 1-0 to keep that 100% record in the league going, and then we hit Galatasaray, who they just overpowered us. They had a really small squad when you look at them in terms of the players they've got, but the players they do have are pretty special. You've got Patrick Schnick in there, Yusuf Demir, Yunus Akgun, Yilmaz, Davinson Sanchez. So they had a really good squad, and they put us out over 2 legs. Not much we could do. Rijeka, the game in between where I tried to rest a lot of players to give us a chance at that second leg, slipped up to a 1-0 defeat to Rijeka, which ruined the 100% league record, let everyone catch up a little bit, which is a bit frustrating. We went on to beat Istra 4-3. Goals for Bukvic, Strunch, Mohar and Guikan. Varazdin we beat with Patel and Mohar getting a couple goals. Dynamo, and this is where it unpicks us a little bit, is these losses to Rijeka, then to Dynamo, and as you can see at the bottom, Hajduk beat us as well. Gorica, we were quite comfortable with that game, 4-1. Stojkovic, Mohar, Perpic and Bukvic with the goals. Europa League, so I didn't realise when we got dumped out of the Champions League we would go straight into the Europa League phase. So we played Maccabi Haifa, got a 3-0 win. Guikan, Bukvic and Mohar getting the goals. Slaven Belupo, really frustrating. One of the teams that they're doing better than they normally do season upon season, but I thought we should have beat them really, and I was very frustrated to give away a goal to slip to a draw. Almira we drew 1-1 in that game. Another point on the board in the group phase of the Europa League, which I'm hoping we can get through at minimum the qualifying phase out on the other side. And you can see there Hajduk beat us 2-1, so we managed to get it back on level terms. They went ahead, they had a player sent off. We threw the kitchen sink at them, but we couldn't get that goal. So that's where we are in terms of the league. I sat in 3rd, only a point behind, so usually we're a little bit adrift at this stage, and I think we've actually got a really good chance. I think when you look at the season preview as well, and again, somebody tell me if I'm wrong, this list of key players, my understanding is it's the top 2 key players from every team in order of who is most key. So I think if you've got the best 2 players at the top, they are the best 2 key players out of all the teams in the league. So for us to have them, the 6th best in Razak Guikan and the 8th in Mohar, I think we've got 2 of the top 8 players in the league, which is really good to look at with our 50-1 rating to maybe go on and challenge for the title. I think this is the year to really put a push on that, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll carry on looking at strengthening the squad through 3 transfers and availability coming through the scouting network moving forward, but I think the plans are in place. The structure and infrastructure is being built on by the squad. We've got a reserve player in every position, got lots of youth coming through. The future looks bright. I mean, I'm really excited about how far this team can go, because we've started to get some really good key players in there. They're starting to develop really well. The squad itself is looking pretty good in terms of the ability rating, and I don't know why this always slides off to the right hand side, but quite a few high potential players in there. In terms of current ability, 4 or 5 really good key players in there. I'll try and sort this out. Always reverts itself back. I'm not 100% sure why. Very frustrating. But yeah, I'll get on. I'll carry on playing. Hopefully, when I come back in the next episode, we're an end of season review where we finally win some sort of trophy, albeit the league or a cup. But yeah, until then, enjoy football, enjoy saves. I've got another Everton game to go and put myself through the pain of watching. And yeah, until next time, enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you soon.